Alright, this is going to be the SimRig overview in driving, and I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think of all this stuff. I'll start getting the shoes on here. These are the Puma Mid-Cat or High-Cat Pros. These are like authentic race car shoes. This is what the pros wear. I've wanted these shoes forever. I think they're just awesome. I was able to find them because the high tops are being discontinued, so usually they're like 200 bucks. I got them for like 80, so I had to jump all over that. They're really comfortable, perfect fit, so I just had to do it. And because we use pedals that require the feetsies to be covered, so computer, all that stuff. But we'll get to the sim gear here. Give a rundown on what you have. Starting with the seat, this is a Corbeau FX1 fixed back. It's sitting on a custom 80/20 rig. 80/20 is just the best way to go. You can interchange stuff so easily. Down here I have 4 butt kicker mini LFEs, 2 there, 2 over here, running on Dayton 250 watt sub amps over here. The monitor mount is from Fast Track Sim. The monitors, and when I sit down we'll get a better look, these are Acer 27-inch XB270H G-Sync monitors, 3D capable. Then down here we have the HE Ultimate pedals, and then more on those. They're set up softest because I like soft and GT stuff. And AccuForce Z1 display. Sam Maxwell provided a thing for it here. Alright, let's climb in here. Talk a little bit about everything we got going on here. These are Acer XB2770H G-Sync monitors, and I switched to these from the 27-inch BenQ monitors. Was it worth it? Was it worth the switch? Yes and no. I don't think they're a game changer. Others will tell you they are. I don't think G-Sync is. It's but one of those things. It's like when you have 60 hertz monitor and then you go to 120 or 144, you can't go back. Like when I went from a 60 to a 120 or 144, it wasn't like, oh wow, blown away. But when I went back, I couldn't do it. It's kind of like it does affect you, but you don't notice it, or I don't notice it like right away. It's just kind of like correct. It's like, oh okay, yeah, this is correct. It's the same with G-Sync. Makes everything smoother, no jaggies, no like slowdowns when you lose frames. Everything's smoother. It's nice. I know when it's off. Is it worth it? No, because you won't know what you don't know. You know, you won't miss what you don't miss. That's just my opinion. But now that I have it, I can't go back. So that's kind of with that. Over here is my button box. It's a cool button box. It's the custom button box by Fast Track Sims, or not Fast Track Sims, Sim Racing Hardware. I didn't get their Control R box because they didn't have like the switches and stuff that I wanted. So they had like a custom one. I liked it. I liked the knob on it and stuff like that. So it's a solid button box. Is it better than the Derek Spear button boxes? It's all on what you want. I like the layout better. If Derek Spear offered something like this with the bias knobs, I'd go with a Derek Spear. And the only reason I say that is because he's closer. This is from England. He's in Florida. I'm in Michigan, so it's just closer. It's easier. but he doesn't offer something like that yet, so went with them. I like it. It's cool. Let's see, the Z1 screen, I've had that forever. It works great. I love it. But what we'll do is we'll get into some driving. Oh, and then down there I got my HE pedals, and I'll talk about the HE pedals as well. Over here we have the Sparco. It's a Sparco P310 with a Sam Maxwell plate, and then Kyle, oh, I can't think of his last name. I think it's like Ledumelo or something like that. He made these paddle shifters, and they're awesome. So if you want really high quality race grade paddle shifters, you want to get him. And everything you see, I'll put links so you can buy all this stuff if you want it. So, alright, that's on. This isn't really, I mean, I'm going to give my thoughts and impressions on all my stuff, but it's not like a Barry Rowland review or anything like that. It's not going to be like super in depth. I'm just going to tell you what I think. And if I think it sucks, I'll tell you. Right now, the SimVibe's kicking off. So I'll go into SimVibe. SimVibe is a game changer. SimVibe is hard because if you get the setup right, it's really cool. But it takes a lot of like time to play with. But it is really cool. And it makes everything kind of feel more alive instead of just dead like you're sitting on an office chair. So it just adds another dimension. It's not going to make you any faster by any means. But, you know, it's cool. I don't want to race without it. It feels like dead and annoying if I try and race without it. So I like keeping it on. You feel the bumps. Not a game changer, but like I said, again, it's like nothing has ever really impressed me. The only thing that I've ever sat down and said like, oh my god, wow, that's incredible, was CST pedals, and that was coming from G27 pedals to Club Sport pedals, then CSTs, and they were just so much better. Now that I've had CSTs to Emerys to HEs, pedals, they don't blow me. There's just little things here and there that's like, oh yeah, that's a little better, or I don't like that as much, but nothing's ever like blowing me out of the water. I can tell you right now it's the same with the AccuForce wheel. I'm not blown out of the water by it. It's better. I went from a G27 to a T500 to the AccuForce. Is it worth it? Yeah, absolutely. Is it like, oh my god, this is incredible? To me, no. But there's so much to know about it and so many things to play with that it's like, you could probably get it to that point. But as a plug and play thing, without spending a lot of time on it, it didn't blow me out of the water. It was correct. Everything, like with me, it's like I sit down, I use it, and then it's like, yes, this is correct. You know, I don't, when I'm going down the straightaways, and I'll pull out of the pits here. When I'm going down straightaways, my old T500, I'd be going like that. And that was because in the middle, there was a dead zone. Here it's nice and smooth, everything's tight all the way through. So I don't have to, it feels good, it feels realistic. You know, you go like that, you don't get the oscillation or the wobble, anything like that. It's just correct. It feels how it should. So I guess in that regard it does its job. But you know, get that out of the way here. I always forget to take my mouse off, and SimVibe rattles it off. So, let me see here. There we go. So yeah, I mean, with the AccuForce, it's like, it's better. It was worth the money, well worth the money, but it wasn't like, oh, it's not like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like, oh, it's so great, it's a game changer. But that being said, I couldn't drive, like, I couldn't use a T500 ever again, or a G27 ever again. There's just no way. So let's see, the HE pedals. The HE pedals, here's the thing. I came from Emery's, and before that CSTs, and CSTs were great. I went to Emery's. Wasn't much different. The hydraulics are a little different, the way they feel. It's hard to explain, but it just feels like hydraulic brake. I mean, it's real smooth and tactile, but it feels dead at the same time. I don't know how to, I'm not good at explaining that, but it's like it's smooth, but it's dead. Everything felt numb. The pedals here, first of all, with HE, the clutch is awesome. And the throttle pedal is awesome. I love the damper on it, or the little hydraulic thing, because it adds like a feel to it. I love it. Way better than Emery's. The clutch and the throttle on Emery pedals are just disgraceful for the amount that they cost. The brake, it's harder to explain. I don't like the beginning of the press with the HEs, but I like the way they feel as you're getting into them more. I like the way the hydraulic pedals feel as you're starting to push into them, but as you get deeper into the brakes, they get numb, where these, the HEs, still feel active or have a feel to them. So it's almost like a perfect thing would be if HE put a bigger hydraulic damper when you started the press. That's what they need. They need a bigger hydraulic damper in the beginning of the press before you get to the bumpers. That's what they need, and I think they would have, quote unquote, a perfect pedal. That's just me. Others will say I'm crazy. That's just me. I don't, they're like too stiff on the onset. They're too hard to push on the onset. That is another problem with the HEs. They're a little harder to press than I would like, and they're not as smooth in the initial press. So they definitely need a bigger hydraulic damper on them. But other than that, they're great pedals. And what you can do with them and everything. I mean, they are the best pedals with the adjustability and all that. Let's see, AccuForce wise. Full disclosure with the AccuForce. I'm driving the Caddy, and that's what I've been driving mostly to focus on. The Caddy sucks. Sucks with all force feedback. And I don't care if you have this, the Bodden, or whatever. The Caddy's force feedback is awful. It's dead, and it's numb, and it's not responsive, and it just sucks. They put no effort into it. You take this wheel and you drive the BMW or the Porsche or RUF or whatever, that's when I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool, because I would slide, but I would catch it. I would start to slide, I would catch the slide, and I could just save things so much easier. It's more intuitive. This wheel doesn't like immediately blow me away, because it's like, oh, okay, it feels like a car wheel. What blows me away is how intuitive it feels. It feels like, okay, I have confidence with it. You know, I'm not like, okay, ooh, I'm gonna go around this corner and I know the car is gonna do it, but I can't really feel it, so I don't know what to do. I never feel that way with this wheel. I'm always like, okay, I know exactly what's gonna happen. You know, I have confidence, and if anything weird happens, I have the confidence to catch it, I guess is the way I would say it. So I don't think it, you know, with the strength, it doesn't need to be any stronger. I think it's strong enough. It's a little notchy. It's not, it is a touch notchy. It doesn't feel smooth like it was hydraulic. You can still kind of feel the servo-ness of it. It's not a hydraulic wheel, but you know, is what it is, I guess. Let's see, other than that, the Sam Maxwell wheel, I have knitter switches on it, so they're really sweet, and then I can control my Momo with it. So I have a separate review of that, or not really a review, but whatever. That's kind of it. What's saying here? It's just, everything's nice. It doesn't move. It doesn't wiggle. You know, everything is how it should be. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like it should be correct, and everything feels correct. The AccuForce and SimVibe has so many different options to play with that it gets frustrating at sometimes because you don't know what to do. That's the only downside to that. But I mean, once you play with it for like 3 years, you're gonna have everything tuned into what you want, and then you'll have to buy something completely new anyways. So, oh well. But that's pretty much it. What I'll do is I'll try and drive some laps and just tell you what I'm feeling as best as I can, so you can get an idea. So I'll put the headphones on here and take for a couple laps. Like right there, deep in the brake zone, usually what would happen with my old pedals is they would feel really nice on the first onset of the press, but then as I went deeper and pressed harder, it just felt numb. With these pedals, the more I press even, it still feels good. And even with that, I could feel that. I could feel the car getting light. I could feel the car getting loose in the wheel. I could feel the front end, even with the awful force feedback of here. I can just, when it starts stepping out, I can feel it and I can just control it. And it's so much faster. You can snap it so much faster. It's more like the little details that you can put into stuff. And trail braking's a lot easier. It's, like I said, the only problem I have with these brakes, just jumping back to that, is the initial press. The initial press, there's nothing really there. It needs more dampening. But as soon as you like dig in to the brake zone and really start manipulating the pressure on it, it always feels alive. Whereas hydraulics, to me, the ones I've tried, feel dead. So I kind of, with these pedals, I always know where I'm at. With the other ones, I never knew where I was at. And then the AccuForce, you know, as good as the force feedback is on here, it's hard to give you a description, but you know, it feels right, feels smooth, feels crisp. I feel confident with it. There's no extra movements that I need to do with the car. You know, with the old T500, it was so dead that I would be sitting there going down the straightaways like that, trying to figure out grip, you know, where the edge of the grip is. With this, I'm just, you know, I'm nice, I'm relaxed, I'm controlled, I'm smooth. I'm not worried about stuff like that. So there's no real wasted movements or scrubs, or, you know, I always know where I'm trying to place the car, basically. The throttle on these are just awesome. Emery and CST just had like a spring, and it just kind of sucked. But these are just, it's great because the damper, it just gives it such a tactile feel. It just gives it that little resistant feel, but it feels great. I always know where I want to put it. You know, it gives it weight. That's what I want to say. It gives the pedal a little weight, which is cool, you know. So are the HEs worth it? Yeah, I mean, they're gonna blow anything you got out of the water if you don't have like CSTs, Emerys, or HPPs. They're all kind of in the same boat. You know, I would say the two best ones for right now are going to be HPP pedals and Emerys, or HE pedals. And the reason I say that is because of the throttle and brake system, or the throttle and clutch system. All the brakes do good things and do bad things, but you're not going to get the throttle and especially the realistic clutch with anything except for HEs and HPPs. So if you're looking to buy pedals, go with one of those two. And like I said, hydraulics are going to feel great on the initial press, but as you try and dig into them, just my feeling, they go numb. These HE pedals, they feel great later on in braking, but when you first press into them, they don't offer that cool, that smooth, you know, they don't offer that smoothness of the hydraulics. It's a different feel. It's like one's dead in the front and one's dead at the end. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. With the AccuForce wheel, though, I mean, there's just so much to do. Just being able to know where everything's at. It's not a game changer, but it's a can't live without her after you used it type of thing. It's like banging a supermodel and then trying to go back to a regular chick. You know, just what it is. You're never going to be satisfied again with anything less. You know, it's just, it is what it is. Let's see, other than that, there's nothing a lot to talk about. I mean, it's a steering wheel is a steering wheel. Monitors are monitors. A button box is a button box. Your big two are your wheel and your pedals. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. G-Sync, you can see it's smooth as butter. If I had it off, it'd drive me nuts. It's not worth it. I wouldn't make the jump again if I knew what I know now. It's not a game changer to me, but once you use it, you can't live without it type of thing. It won't blow you away, in my opinion, on the first initial use. Maybe it will. Didn't to me, but you know, after you've used it a while. It's the same with SimVibe. I can't drive without it because everything feels dead. You know, I talk about SimVibe. I can feel all these little bumps right now. They're just beating and bumping me. I go off road. I can feel it going da 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 da, and it's cool. You feel the engine, stuff like that. Is it necessary? No. Does it make everything feel a lot more alive? Yeah. Will it affect your lap times, good or bad? No. No. It'll just feel better, in my opinion, as long as you get the right setup. I mean, it's not going to make you slower. Won't make you faster. Won't make you slower. None of this stuff is going to particularly make you faster. Just because it's harder to press. It's harder to turn. You know? Fast guys use one monitor and all this crazy, like, cheap stuff, and they're super fast because, you know, you turn the force feedback off and you can whip it around and stuff. It's not as hard to turn. With all this gear, it's so much harder and it's so much more realistic. It can be slower. It's not always slower, but it can be. So the equipment won't buy you much speed, in my opinion. But it does buy you... for me at least, it buys me less annoyance when things are solid and not flimsy and rattling around or bendable, you know. I like the quality of the stuff. Let's see, other than that, there's nothing really much more to talk about. So that's it. I mean, it's just trying to think of what else. Helps with consistency. It's just cool. It's all cool. Well, that's it.